Okay. So, hello. Walang gabi sa ating lahat. So, for today's video discussion, let us talk about liabilities. Okay? So, bago ka pumunta dito sa discussion ng liabilities, I assume tapos ka na sa assets natin. As of this day, tapos na kami sa non-current assets. Yung current assets hindi ko pa na-record, pero just give me some time, i-record ko din siya. Okay, so liabilities muna tayo. So ano nga ba ang meron sa liabilities? Sinabi sa standard natin, liabilities actually daw is a present obligation as a result of past events. Na ano daw obligation mo? To transfer an economic resource. That it must be, such obligation is probable and is measurable. So yan yung sinabi na definition ng liabilities. Ulitin ko. Okay? Dapat daw present obligation yan. As a result of past event. Bakit ka daw nagkaroon ng obligation? Dahil sa isang bagay, isang event na tapos mo nang ginawa. Past event. Okay? Na nagkaroon ka daw ng current obligation. Meron kang obligasyon ngayon dahil may ginawa ka na tapos na. May ginawa ka before na natapos na. Na ano ngayon yung obligation mo daw? To transfer an economic resources. It's either asset, it's either to exchange and liability as long as meron ka daw ita-transfer kapalit nung ginawa mo na before. Okay, example niyan, meron kang ginawang merong nangyari na nagbigay sa'yo ng inventory, si supplier mo, nangyari na yon. Na-receive mo na yung inventory. Ano ngayon ang meron ka? Meron kang obligasyon. Obligasyon na what? Magbayad. Meron kang current obligation kasi nangyari na naibigay na sa'yo yung inventory. Ano ngayon yung obligasyon mo? Magbigay ng economic resource which is, let's say for example, cash. Tandaan mo na lang muna, dapat to be considered as liability, it must be at least ito, probable, and dapat measurable. Okay, sa next video discussion na lang natin mas pagtuunan ng pansin yung probable and measurable. Okay tayo dyan? Sige. So, obligations can either derive or can either become from, it's either from legal sources. So, meron kang legal obligation or pwede daw constructive obligation. Anong difference, sir? Pag sinabi nating legal obligation, this is with a binding of law. So, meron ng batas dyan. And, nagkaroon na ng contract. Okay, meron kang obligasyon. Bakit? Kasi sinabi ng batas. Meron sa batas. Nagkaroon ka ng obligation. Bakit? Kasi pumasok ka sa isang kontrata. Merong kontrata. Tama. Once you entered contract, it has the power at it was binded by the law. So, tama lang, legal obligation. Okay? Sinabi sa batas, may obligasyon ka. Sinabi sa kontrata nyo or pumasok ka sa kontrata, kaya nagkaroon ka ng obligation. Ano meron sa constructive obligation? Dito, wala kang pinasukan na kontrata. Walang sinabi sa batas. Okay? Walang written contract, walang sinabi sa batas. So, walang evidence dito. Pero kaya sinabi, constructive. Bakit? Anong basis daw? Bakit nagkaroon ka ng obligation dito? It's either daw kasi meron ng past practice. Okay, meron kang ginagawa before, nagbebenta ka ng cellphone before, nagbebenta ka ng cellphone, okay, yung normal operating cycle mo is magbenta ng phone, before daw, nagbibigay ka ng free warranty for your customers. Sabi daw, pag nagbenta ka ulit in the next, or for this day, nagbenta ka ulit ng cellphone, ina-expect ng customer mo na meron ulit silang warranty rights kasi yun na yung nakag-ugalian nila. Based from past practice. And meron silang expectation. Okay? Basically, nagkaroon ka ng obligation hindi dahil sinabi ng batas, hindi dahil merong kontrata, but rather kasi nagkaroon sila ng expectation. Dahil, bakit may expectation? Kasi yun na daw yung ginagawa mo before. Okay? Wag ka daw magbabago. Kung ano daw yung ginawa mo before, yun na raw yun. Maging consistent ka daw, sabi ng bebe mo. Diba? Nagre-reklamo sila. Bakit dati ginagawa mo ngayon, hindi na. Constructive obligation. Kuha mo yan? Sige. Kung maalala mo dun sa topic natin ng investment, which is, it talks about PFRS 9, tama? Diniscuss ko doon si financial instruments. Okay, ano ulit yung definition ng financial instruments doon? Balikan lang natin ha, ito yung definition na sinabi ko doon. It is a contract or any contract that gives rise to what? Financial asset of one entity or and a financial liability or an equity instrument of another entity. Ang example natin dito before, si Mr. P tapos si Mr. CC. Tama, si Mr. P nag-invest. Si Mr. P may financial asset. Bakit siya nagkaroon ng financial asset? Kasi nag-invest siya. Kanino siya nag-invest? Sa ibang entity. Another entity. Saan siya nag-invest? It's either sa financial liability or sa equity instrument nung kabilang entity. Yun yung financial instrument natin. And sinabi ko doon sa PFRS 9, financial instrument can either be a financial asset or a financial liability. Yung financial asset, tapos na natin i-discuss yan under current assets. Mag-focus tayo ngayon dito sa point of view ng financial liability. Kuha mo yan. Pero define lang natin para makita mo yung difference ha. Kapag sinabing financial asset, sinabi ko rin to doon sa video discussion natin ng investment, financial asset is a cash. Okay? Financial asset is a cash or pwede ding financial liability siya and or an equity instrument siya ng kabilang entity. So basically, pwedeng investment siya, pwedeng cash mo siya. Si cash mo, tapos yung investment mo sa ibang entity, sabi daw, financial asset daw sila. Ano namang meron sa financial liability? Sabi daw, it is also a cash. Okay? Cash din siya, pero dito, meron ka ng obligation. Paano obligation? Sure, merong usapang cash, pero obligation to deliver. Okay, meron ka na daw obligation na mag-deliver ng cash. Financial liability din daw yun. Okay? Financial liability, kapag ikaw na yung obliged na magbigay ng cash. Ikaw na yung required, ikaw na yung obligated na sinabi sa batas, sinabi sa contract, sinabi sa past practice na magbigay ka ng cash sa kanila. Meron ka daw financial liability. In exchange, or pwede din daw, hindi ka nagbigay ng cash. Eh ano daw? Nakipagpalitan ka. Merong exchange. Ng financial asset or a financial liability. Okay? Kasi pwede din na magbayad, meron ka pa rin financial liability na hindi ka nagbabayad ng cash. Possible, nagbayad ka ng investment yung pinambayad mo. Pwede, nag-issue ka ng bonds. Pwede naman din daw yun. Basta, magiging classified daw siya as financial liability if it is under unfavorable terms. Okay, dapat daw nasa disadvantage ka rito para maging financial liability. Let's say for example, si Mr. P ulit nag-invest, sabihin na natin 70,000 pesos kay Mr. CC. Si Mr. CC nag-invest, sabihin na natin cash yan. Si Mr. P nag-invest kay Mr. CC sa bonds. So, investment in bonds, ang binayad ni Mr. P, 70,000 peso cash. Kapalit niyan, mag-i-issue si Mr. CC ng 100,000 cash. Anong entry sa point of view ulit ni Mr. P na nag-invest? Tama, debit siya ng investment in bonds, tapos credit siya ng cash kasi nagbayad siya ng 70,000 pesos. Yun yung initial measurement mo ng investment in bonds. Sa point of view ni Mr. CC, ano nagiging entry natin dyan? Tama, naka-receive siya ng cash. Magkano na-receive niyang cash? 70,000. Tapos, magkikredit siya ng bonds kasi nag-issue siya ng bonds. Meron siya ngayong utang na magbayad kasi nagbigay siya ng bonds kay Mr. P. Magkano? 70,000 din, which is yung initial measurement ng financial liability. Ano yung financial liability dyan? Yung bonds na inisyo nino, Mr. CC. Ano yung financial asset dyan? Yung bonds na nakuha ni Mr. P. Kuha mo yon. Ulitin ko, financial asset is a cash or a financial liability or an equity instrument of another entity. Sino ba si another entity sa point of view ni Mr. P? Mr. CC. Ano yung na-receive niya? Financial liability, which is si bonds. Okay, si Mr. CC nagbigay ng bonds, nag-exchange ng financial liability. Under unfavorable terms ba? Dapat under unfavorable terms. Nasa unfavorable ba si Mr. CC? Tignan mo, magkano yung na-receive niya? 70,000 cash. Magkano yung binigay niyang bonds? Magkano yung obligated siyang ibayad na cash? 100,000. Obligated ba unfavorable ba kay Mr. CC? Yes. Kaya si Mr. CC nag-recognize ng financial liability. Si Mr. P nag-recognize ng financial asset natin. Kuha mo yan? Sige, so balikan natin yung concept ng investment natin. Tama, pag mayroon kang investment, financial asset, sabihin na natin sa bonds muna kasi usapang liabilities to, okay? Alisin mo muna sa isip mo si equity kasi ibang usapan yon. Nag-invest ka sa bonds, merong financial asset sa bonds. Let's say for example si Mr. P, nag-invest kay Mr. CC, merong financial asset si Mr. P. Ano ulit yung subsequent, ano ulit yung tatlong classification ng investment natin? Tatlo yon. Ano yon? Meron kang investment that are subsequently measured at number 1, FVPL. Tapos mayroong number 2, may subsequently measured at amortized cost. And number 3, those that are subsequently measured at FVOCI. Naaalala mo pa yung concept na yan? Dapat lang. They are initially measured at what? Initial measurement na itong mga investment natin na to. Ano? Tama, kapag FVPL initially measured at fair value. Amortized costs are initially measured at fair value plus transaction cost, and FVOCI are initially measured at fair value plus transaction cost. Ano ulit mangyayari sa transaction cost under FVPL? They are expense outright. Tama, naalala mo na? Very good ka dyan. Ngayon, i-differentiate natin ano meron kay financial liabilities. Kay financial liabilities, okay, dalawa na lang ang classification mo dito. Number 1, which is kapag silent yung problem, that such financial liability will be subsequently measured at amortized cost. And or number 2, subsequently measured at FVPL. So wala na yung FVOCI kapag usapang financial liabilities. Kuha mo yon? Very good Ngayon, initially, at initial measurement, itong dalawa na yan, initially mini-measure siya at fair value. Pero dito plus transaction cost. Dito ngayon, minus transaction cost. Okay? Initially, mini-measure ang financial liability at fair value, less transaction cost. They are subsequently measured or they can be classified into two, amortized cost and FVPL. Pag amortized cost, anong ginagawa mo dyan? Mag-a-amortize ka. Amortization table tayo. Pag FVPL, same concept lang yan. Hahanapin mo yung ending balance ng fair value mo. Tapos, meron yun yung magiging magkano yung fair value ng investment at the end of the year. Tapos yun yung ending balance ng fair value natin or yung ending balance ng investment natin. Which is dito naman, ending balance ng financial liability mo. Okay? And meron changes yun, tama. Kung lalagyan mo ng T-account yan, meron ka dito, liabilities muna tayo. Liabilities, syempre credit balance yan. Nagkaroon ka dito ng 100 pesos. Let's say for example, yung ending balance ng financial liability mo is nasa 125. So meron ka ditong 25 pesos na additional liability. Tama, loss yan. Baliktad na tayo point of view na tayo, liability na tayo. Loss yan, tama? Nadagdagan yung liabilities mo, nadagdagan yung utang mo, nagkaroon ka ng loss. Saan mo i-recognize yung loss mo? Profit or loss. Bakit? FVPL. Tama? Okay. Pag amortized cost, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng interest expense, hindi na ngayon interest income. Pag investment, interest income. Pag finance, pag liability, interest expense. Okay? Sir, wala na bang papasok sa other comprehensive income? Wala na. Ito lang yung exception under FVPL. Kapag under FVPL ka daw, possible daw kasi na magkaroon ng changes to credit risk. Kapag nagkaroon daw ng changes to credit risk, yung changes daw dyan, ipapasok mo daw saan? Sa other comprehensive income. So medyo dumali yung buhay natin sa financial liability kasi inalis yung investment classified at FVOCI. Kung maalala mo sa investment natin, sa asset natin, yan lang naman yung nagpahirap sa buhay natin sa FVOCI. Dali na. Tama? Okay. Balikan lang natin yung liabilities. Dito natin sa concept sa taas. Okay? Tama, sinabi ko dapat merong present obligation as a result of past events. Meron kasi tayong tinatawag na executory contracts. Okay, meron tayong tinatawag na executory contracts. Ano ibig sabihin ng executory contracts? Ang nangyari lang dyan, pumasok ka sa isang kontrata. Ako, tapos ikaw, pumasok tayo sa iisang kontrata. Anong kontrata ko? Turuan kita. Anong obligation mo? Bayaran ako. Parang ganon. Private tutor ba? Kumbaga. Okay? Kapag executory contract, it's either ikaw at ako wala pang ginagawa para ma-fulfill yung obligation nila. So basically, wala pang liability sa point of view nating dalawa. Okay? Anong obligation ko ulit? Turuan ka. Anong obligation ka? Anong obligation mo? Bayaran ako. Para kasi private tutor tayo dito. Hindi pa kita tinuruan. So wala ka pang obligation, bayaran ako. Hindi mo pa ako binayaran, so wala akong obligation, turuan ka. Executory contract. Basically, pumasok ka sa isang kontrata, pero wala pang obligation sa inyong dalawa. Executory pa lang. Kuha mo yon. Ngayon, let's say for example, nag-fulfill ako in advance ng service ko. Tinuruan kita nang hindi ka pa nagbabayad. Sino ngayon magkakaroon ng liability? Ikaw. Okay? For example, nagbayad ka, hindi pa kita tinuruan. Sino ngayon may liability? Ako na. So basically, pag executory contract, kung sino yung unang gumawa daw ng obligation niya, yung kabilang party daw na nahuling gumawa nung supposed to be kailangan niyang gawin, sabi daw, siya yung nagkaroon ng liability. Let's say for example ulit, me and you entered into a contract. Executory contract muna. Wala pang nag-perform ng obligation. Let's say for example, ako nag-perform ng obligation. Ako yung nag-first move. Okay, ginawa ko na yung supposed to be kailangan kong gawin. Sino ngayon ang may liability? Ikaw ngayon. Meron ka ngayong liability bayaran ako. Let's say for example, ikaw yung naunang nag-move. So first move ka. Okay, sino ngayon yung may utang? Ako ngayon. Ako ngayon yung may obligation, turuan ka. Kuha mo yon. Yun yung concept ng executory contract. Sana malinaw, ha? Sana malinaw. Okay tayo dyan. So, actually, yan na muna for financial liability and financial asset. For now, let's move on sa presentation. So, how do we present liabilities ba? Okay, so dalawa lang naman yan. Liabilities can either be presented as a current liability and a non-current liability. Ganyan lang yan. Okay? So, paano mo siya malalaman kung current liability siya? Sinabi sa standard, it is a current liability, unahin mo natin yung pangalawa, if it is held primarily for trading. Okay, financial liability liability daw siya that are to be presented as current liability if it is held primarily for trading. Pwede din trade payable. Meron kang trade payable, under general rule natin, trade payables are considered as current liabilities. Okay, and sabi daw, it has no right to defer settlement for at least 12 months after reporting period. So, ibig sabihin, parang due and demandable siya for the 12 months. And wala daw siyang right to defer. Napatagalin yung pagbabayad. Okay, so ibig sabihin daw, current receivable na. Current payable na raw siya. Okay tayo. And, yung number 1, it must be to be settled within 12 months or within normal operating cycle, whichever is longer tayo. Okay, kapag to be expected to be settled or babayaran mo siya within 12 months, current liability siya. Okay? Or, for example, babayaran mo siya ng more than 12 months kasi yun yung normal operating cycle mo, current liability pa rin daw siya. Whichever is longer tayo. Ano naman pag non-current liabilities? Actually, residual definition lang siya. Pag hindi pumasok sa tatlong definitions ng current liabilities natin, pasok daw siya sa non-current liabilities. Kuha mo yun. Sige ulitin ko lang, current liability siya pag na-meet tong tatlong requirements na to. Non-current siya pag wala dyan sa tatlo na yan. Residual definition. Tira-tira lang ba, kumbaga. Okay guys, apologies kung madalas kong mapagbaliktaran yung receivables tapos si payables. Si assets tapos si liabilities. Kasi actually, halos lahat naman nasanay sa asset. Tama. Kasi first year, second sem, first year, or first sem, second year, diniscuss mo ang ka-asset. Current asset at non-current asset, magkaibang semester pa yan. Tapos bigla kang papasok sa liabilities. Malilito ka ngayon usually. From the point of view nung nag-invest up to the point of view ngayon nung ikaw yung binayaran or ikaw yung may liabilities, medyo nakakalito ngayon. Pero actually, kung sanay ka na sa asset, sanay ka na din sa liability. Madali na sa'yo ang liabilities. Bakit? Kasi yung concept naman sa asset, they are mostly familiar kay liabilities. And medyo mas komplikado pa si asset kumpara kay liabilities. Kasi konti lang ang topic sa liabilities eh. Ang mahirap lang naman sa liabilities pag pumasok na tayo ng employee benefits and leases. Okay, meron tayong notes payable. Yung notes payable natin, dinascuss mo na yan nung receivables natin, notes receivable natin. Mag-a-amortize ka lang naman doon. Ang difference lang pag liabilities, expense na yung nire-recognize mo. Pag receivables kasi, interest income yung nire-recognize natin. Okay? So, babalik na rin mo lang yung point of view. Ang nakakalito lang at ang nagpapahirap lang ngayon sa liabilities, kaya ayaw din siyang ituro ng ibang instructor, madalas nilalagpasan pag usapang liabilities, or pinapasa sa ibang instructor kapag liabilities na yung usapan kasi mas gamay daw nila yung asset and mas gusto nila yung asset dahil nga nakakalito. Okay? From the perspective nung nagbayad, from the perspective nung ikaw na yung magbabayad. Okay? But please, bear with me kasi importante pa rin naman si liabilities. Kahit papano, importante pa rin naman siya. Although, syempre, wala namang may gustong pag-usapan ang utang. Tama, ano lang gusto mong pag-usapan? Yung mga asset mo. Anyway, let's say for example, balik tayo sa discussion, ano yung mga example or common example ng current liabilities natin? Number 1, pag meron kang financial liabilities that are to be measured at FVPL. Okay, sir, bakit? Kapag yung at amortized cost na financial liability, saan siya? Generally, non-current yan. Bakit mo siya ina-amortize? Kasi more than 1 year naman yun. Hold to collect. Tama. So doon, hold to pay. Kuha mo yun, amortized cost, tama, ina-amortize mo, and usually more than 1 year yun. So, non-current liabilities yun. Ano pa? Meron kang non-current liabilities. Pero yung portion daw ng non-current liabilities is to be collected within 12 months or is to be settled, napagbaliktaran ko na naman, okay, collected, receivable yon, is to be settled within 12 months or within normal operating cycle, whichever is longer. Or ulitin ko ulit, meron kang non-current liability. Tapos, expected mo daw bayaran siya within 12 months na. Or yung portion ng non-current liabilities mo is babayaran mo na within 12 months. Sabi daw, current liability na raw siya. Yan yung number 2. Current portion of the long-term bonds, loans, notes, and even lease liabilities. Kuha mo yon, yung current portion lang ha. Kapag currently demandable na siya. Pangatlo, kapag daw trade accounts and notes payable. Okay, pag nakita mo yung word na trade, huwag mo nang isipin kung to be settled by within 12 months or within normal operating cycle. Pag nakita mo yung trade na yan, automatic na yan. Current payable na yan. Kahit na notes payable yung in-issue, kahit hindi accounts payable, basta trade notes payable, dapat makita mo yung trade ha. Trade notes payable, they are classified as current liabilities. Pag ang nabasa mo lang notes payable, wala kang nabasang trade, expectation mo, non-current liability pa yan. Pag silent ang problem, si notes payable, non-current. Pag silent ang problem, nakita mo yung trade, current liabilities. Pag binigay yung date na to be settled within 12 months, kahit na notes payable yan, current liability na yan. Okay? Tama, meron kang trade and other receivables. Dito din, meron ka ding trade and other payables. Yung trade payables, current liabilities. Meron ka nung other payables, tama? Yung other payables mo, tatawagin natin yun as non-trade payables. So, paano mo makaklasify kung current payable ba ang non-trade payables if it is to be settled within 12 months after reporting period? Sir, paano pag to be settled within or beyond 12 months? Non-current liability na yan. Kuha mo yon, dapat to be settled within 12 months. Sir, merong trade eh. Non-trade yan, magkasama yan, iisang word yan. Huwag kang... Joke lang. Trade lang dapat. Pag nakita mo yung non-trade receivable, iisang word yan, okay? Pag non-trade receivable, non-current ang expectation mo if to be settled more than 12 months. Okay? Kahit na to be settled more than 12 months, pero nakita mo yung trade lang at trade accounts payable, classified pa rin yan as current liabilities. Uulitin ko, pag nakita mo yung trade accounts payable, trade notes payable, it is to be settled, or it is classified as current payable liabilities regardless kung to be settled siya within 12 months, within normal operating cycle, or beyond such period. Sabi daw, current payable yan. Same yan sa receivable. Current receivable din yun. Ang non-trade, kailangan mo i-check. If to be settled within 12 months, dun mo lang siya i-classify as current payable. Okay? Pag beyond 12 months, non-current payable tayo. Kuha mo? Very good. Makikita mo ngayon, meron pa isa dyan. Unearned income. Okay, ano yung concept ng unearned income na yan? Didiscuss din natin yan mamaya. Basically, si unearned income, tama, sa accounting, naka-accrual basis tayo. You are recognizing income once earned. You are recognizing expenses once incurred. Hindi tayo naka-cash basis. Ano yung unearned income na yan? Basically, dito, naka-receive ka ng advance payment. Okay? Advance payment from suppliers. Unearned income. Okay? Meron kang na-receive na cash. Bakit ka naka-receive ng cash? For future delivery ng services na binili nila sa'yo. Advance payment na nakuha mo sa kanila, unearned income yun. Liabilities yan. Kahit na nakikita mo yung income na yan, hindi yan income kasi merong unearned. Pang-unearned, liabilities yan. And kapag silent ang problem, it is considered as current liabilities. Makikita mo, bank overdraft. Si bank overdraft, current liabilities din yan. And pag nakita mo yung advances, pero nakita mo, supplier, advances from, okay, from advances from supplier, current liabilities yan. Advances from officers, current liabilities ang pag silent ang problem. Advances from employees, current liabilities pag silent ang problem. Ulitin ko, from. Pag napalitan yan ng to, pag to na yan, huwag kang malilito, receivable na yan. Advances to supplier, meron kang receivable sa kanila. Advances from supplier, meron silang receivable sa'yo. So, meron kang payable sa kanila. Kuha. Ano yung example ngayon ng non-current liabilities natin? Pero pag nabasa mo yung notes payable, non-current yan. Nabasa mo yung loans, bonds, notes, non-current liabilities yan. Oy sir, deferred income. Tas unearned income, parang parehas lang yan Advances, parang yan, advances yan na na-receive mo from supplier mo, yes. Interchangeably ginagamit yan. Unearned income tapos deferred income. Kasi parehas lang naman ng definition yan actually. Pero pag nakita mo yung word na deferred, okay? Pag nakita mo yung word na deferred, ipasok mo yan sa non-current. Okay? Pag deferred, non-current. Pag unearned, current. Advances from, sir, pares lang yan advances from officers, employees. Ito, affiliates. Pag affiliates, sabihin na natin, associates, subsidiaries, usually, non-current yan. Advances from affiliates, non-current liabilities yan. So yan kapag kina-classify mo si current and non-current liabilities. I-familiar mo yung sarili mo sa examples. Tapos kapag alam mo pa yung definition ng current liabilities, sigurado sa lahat ng mga tanungan, pag nakita mo yung mga liabilities na yan, tinanong kung ano yung current and non-current, mas naku, masasagutan mo yan. Kuha yun? Okay move on tayo Sige. Since pinag-uusapan natin si current and non-current liabilities, okay, pasukin natin ito. Meron tayong term na tinatawag na refinancing. Ano yung refinancing na yan? Basically, it is an agreement between parties. Usually, sa bangko yan. Okay? Agreement of what? Agreement to reschedule a long-term basis. Ano bang kwento pag merong refinancing? Let's say, for example, meron kang notes payable. Pag notes payable ulit, non-current. Tama. Meron kang, loans na lang. Sige, kasi bangko. Meron kang loans payable sa iisang bangko. Yang loans payable na yan, okay, it is currently maturing within 12 months. So, babayaran mo na daw siya within 12 months. Balikan mo yung concept ng current liabilities mo. To be settled within 12 months. Current liability. Sinabi ko pa dito, current portion of long-term bonds or long loans. Current liabilities. Ito, to be settled within 12 months na loans. Anong classification mo dito? Current liabilities yan. So, dito ka ngayon. Pasok ka ngayon. Pag mayroon daw refinancing, rules daw natin. Kapag yung long-term daw is currently maturing, they are classified as current liabilities. Kuha mo yon. Exceptions to that rule. Ito daw yon. So ito yung general rule mo Exception daw to that rule, it will be considered as non-current payable only if, number 1, there is an existing right to extend. Okay? There is an existing right to extend what? The payment. Or number 2, the right has been given to extend before the end of reporting period. Sabi daw, it will be classified as non-current daw. Okay, non-current na pag nakita mo itong mga to. Ano ba ibig sabihin, sir, ng there is an existing right to extend? Yun yung word ng sinasabi ng refinancing. Okay, it is a replacement of an existing debt with a new one. Okay, but with a different terms. So yes, to be settled na siya within 12 months. Kaso sabi daw ng bangko, huwag kang mag-alala, meron naman sa kontrata natin na meron kang right na i-extend mo yung pagbayad natin. Pag meron ka daw right na i-extend yung pagbayad natin, take note mo to regardless kung i-exercise mo yung right na yan, or hindi mo yan i-exercise, or gusto mo nang bayaran yung liabilities mo within 12 months, sabi daw, as long as meron kang right to extend, classified pa rin daw siya as non-current liabilities. Tandaan mo yun Ulitin ko, baka hindi mo naintindihan. Kahit daw na kahit daw na maturing na siya within 12 months, kahit daw gusto mo nang bayaran within 12 months, kahit daw hindi mo na daw i-exercise yung right mo to extend the payment of that loan payable, as long as binigyan ka daw ng right sa kontrata ninyo ni bangko, sabi daw yung liability daw na yan will be classified as non-current liabilities. Sir, paano pag walang right na binigay sa kontrata? Depende ngayon. Kapag daw binigyan ka ng right bago daw matapos yung reporting period, sabi daw, it will be classified as non-current liabilities. Sir, ano ibig sabihin niyang before reporting period? Ganito. Tama, usually, pag meron kang business, nag-i-start yan January 1. Sabihin na natin, individuals. So, calendar year tayo. Kailan yan natatapos? Siyempre, December 31, isang taon. Dito sa December 31, yan yung reporting period mo. Ano ba yung i-report mo usually? Sa statement of financial position or sa financial statements natin, yung operation mo from January 1 to December 31. Yan yung reporting period. Ngayon, hindi mo pa, yung financial statement kasi na na-generate mo ng December 31, hindi pa naman yan readily available para sa external users. Tama? Bakit ka ba gumagawa ng financial statement for external users? So, then ngayon yung issuance. Okay, dito yung issuance date. Let's say, for example, 2025 ito. Dito ka pa mag-i-issue 2026. Siyempre, aayusin mo pa yung financial statements mo. Tama? Tapos ito, authorized for issue. Anong authorized for issue, Authorized for issue, sir? Merong instances kasi na yung financial statements mo, kailangan mo pang ipa-approve sa management, sa upper management, doon sa may-ari mismo ng company. Okay? Sabi daw, balikan natin yung concept, magiging non-current lang siya pag yung right daw binigay before the end of reporting period. So kapag binigay siya within this period, sabi daw, it will be classified as non-current. Binigay yung right within this period, non-current yan. Sir, paano pag binigay yung right within this period? Sabi daw, ay kahit na binigay yan, current payable na raw yan. Kuha mo? Very good tayo, Okay. So, punta natin to. Payable on demand. Ano meron naman sa payable on demand? Pag sinabing payable on demand, dito nagkaroon ng breach of contract. Okay? Meron kayong kontrata, tapos sinira mo yung kontrata. Tumiwalag ka sa pinag-usapan nyo. Sabi daw, payable on demand. Such liability daw will be due and demandable. Pag due and demandable na, ibig sabihin, classified na siya as current payable. Current liabilities na raw siya. Unless lender agreed before the end of reporting period not to demand payment. Napakiusapan mo. Sabi mo, hindi na, sorry na. Babawi ako. Babayaran ko siya, basta wag mo kong sisingilin agad within 12 months. Babawi ako. Sabi mo. Okay, nakiusap ka. Pag binigyan ka ng rights within this period ulit, sabi daw, classified siya as non-current. Pag binigay yung rights dito, pinag-isipan, tapos luwagpas ng December 31, ay current liabilities na raw siya. Kuha mo yan. Very good ka dyan. Sige So, tandaan mo lang yung concept ng refinancing and payable on demand natin. Sige. So, isa-isahin natin ulit. Pasukin natin yung mga medyo komplikadong liabilities na mapagdadaanan natin once we answer questions. So, meron dito, unearned revenues. Tama yung unearned revenues. These are revenues that are earned or that are received in advance. So, naka-receive ka ng cash in advance in exchange for your revenue. Okay? Accrual basis tayo Accrual basis dapat tayo. Okay? So, unang unearned revenue mo is si gift certificate. Ang standard na ginagamit usually dito sa gift certificate, dapat naka-PFRS 15 na raw tayo. Revenue recognition from customer contracts. Huwag ka mag-alala. Ano yan? PFRS 15, di ko pa napagdaanan yan. Huwag ka mag-alala. Di-discuss natin to from a separate video discussion under Advanced Financial Accounting and Reporting na kasi yan. Okay, basta ito lang muna. Sa liability side lang muna, gift certificate. Ang question lang natin dito, kailan tayo magre-recognize ng liability? Kailan tayo magre-recognize ng income? Kasi tama, revenue yan. Kailan mo i-recognize yung revenue? Kailan ka magre-recognize ng liability? Yun yung question lang muna natin pag-usapang gift certificate. Okay? Sabi daw, you will recognize liability if gift certificate are sold. Ano bang concept ng gift certificate muna? Dito, for example, bumili ako ng gift certificate kay SM. Bakit? Kasi gusto kong ipangregalo. Ano ba yung gift certificate na yan? Parang papel lang yan na parang GC. Alam mo na siguro yan. Parang papel lang yan, parang check na nakasulat doon, 100 pesos. Pag binigay mo yon sa kahit na sino, as long as meron yung gift certificate na yon, imbis na magbayad ng cash, yung pambabayad is yung papel lang na yon. Yun yung gift certificate. Okay? Sabi daw, kapag daw binili na daw ng kahit sino yung papel daw na iyon, sabi daw, mag-recognize ka na daw ng liability. Liability lang muna, hindi pa yan revenue. Sir, binili na Tama, revenue na? Hindi pa. Okay, liability pa lang siya. Bakit? Kailan ka mag-recognize ng liability, sir? Kapag daw, it's either number 1, such gift certificate were redeemed. Okay? Ni-redeem na or na-expire na. Paano ibig sabihin ng ni-redeem, sir? Kapag ginamit na yung gift certificate, doon ka lang mag-recognize ng revenue. Okay? For example, ulit, bumili ako ng gift certificate, pinangregalo ko sa kapatid ko. Si SA mag-recognize ng liability the moment na binili ko yung gift certificate. Liability pa lang. Kapag daw ginamit na nung kapatid ko yung gift certificate na yon, pinambayad na niya sa SM, doon pa lang mag-recognize ng revenue si SM. Okay, once redeemed or once it is expired. Tandaan mo initially, liability pa si gift certificate kapag binili si gift certificate. Mag-recognize ka lang ng revenue daw kapag na-redeem na or ginamit na yung gift certificate or kapag na-expire yung gift certificate. Okay tayo? Sige. Sa gift certificate, tama, merong instances na nag-estimate si company based eventually, minsan, from past practices. Okay? Ine-estimate nila. Ano yung ine-estimate nila? Yung percentage nung bumili ng gift certificate na hindi gagamitin yung gift certificate. Let's say, for example, nakalimutan na meron pala silang gift certificate. For example, napunit yung gift certificate. For example, nawala yung gift certificate. Hindi na nagamit. Okay? Hindi nagamit, hindi nag-expire pa rin. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag ngayon na breakage. Yun yung concept ng breakage. Yan yung estimated portion ng gift receivable or gift certificate na hindi mariredeem ng kahit na sino. Okay? Breakage are to be recognized, tama. For example na lang. For example, bumili ng GC, 100,000 pesos. Okay? Bumili ng GC, 100,000 pesos from different customers yan. Okay? I-estimate dyan, sabihin na natin, 10% niyan is hindi ko ako kolekta 10,000. Yung 10,000, yun yung breakage. Okay? Yung buong 100,000 na yan, i-recognize mo yan saan? Liabilities pa. I-recognize mo yung revenue kapag ginamit na yung 10,000. Itong 10,000 na estimated breakage na yan, hindi naman yan mariredeem hindi yan nag-expire Anong gagawin mo dyan? Sabi daw, i-recognize mo daw yan sa ng revenue kapag gamit daw itong methods na to. Proportionate method and remote method. Ano ibig sabihin ng proportionate method? Pag sinabing proportionate method, you will recognize revenue the same pattern as you recognize the gift certificate. Same pattern sa pag-recognize ng gift certificate. Okay? Tandaan mo na lang muna, same pattern. Okay? I-illustrate natin yan mamaya. Pag remote naman, remote method daw, sinabi daw, you will only recognize revenue if itong 10,000 daw na yan, na breakage daw na yan, is certain na. Okay? If it is certain na. Or, sinabi mismo sa standard, you will recognize revenue only if the likelihood to be redeemed is remote. Okay? In short, certain ka na hindi marireceive or hindi i-redeem yung 10,000 pesos. I-recognize mo na siya as revenue. Kuha tayo Tandaan mo na lang muna, si gift certificate, initially, liability yan. Magre-recognize ka lang ng revenue pag na-redeem na or kapag nag-expire yung gift certificate natin. Tapos, separately, ine-estimate mo yung breakage. Okay, yun yung estimated portion na hindi i-collecta or hindi i-redeem. Sabi daw, i-recognize mo siya as revenue under two methods. Pwede daw proportionate method. Pag proportionate method, the same pattern kung paano mo daw i-recognize yung gift certificate, which is i-illustrate natin mamaya. Si remote method naman dito, i-recognize mo yung buong breakage na 10,000 kapag certain ka na hindi talaga makokolekta ito. Or hindi talaga i-redeem yan. For example, you are 100% certain that you cannot collect or that the customer will not redeem 10,000 peso of gift certificate. Anong entry mo dyan? Debit ka na ngayon ng liability kasi aalisin mo na yung liability na i-recognize mo dito tapos mag-credit ka na ng gift certificate revenue. Okay tayo dyan? Sige. Number 2, unearned revenue. Ito, deposits. Ano meron kay deposits? Basically, madali siyang i-define pag alam mo yung word na assurance. Okay? Si deposit nagbibigay ng or nanghihingi ng assurance. Okay? Paano ang assurance? In a way of cash advance. Number 1 example nito, bumili ka ng soft drinks sa tindahan. Yung bote, kailangan mo daw ibalik kasi gagamitin pa yan ng tindera. Minsan daw hindi binabalik. So, para daw ibalik mo yan, yung sukli mo, hindi ibibigay sa'yo. Ibibigay lang yung sukli kapag binalik mo yung bote. Yung sukling hindi binalik sa'yo, cash advance yun cash advance yun na nanggaling sa'yo. Okay? Point of view tayo ng tindera. Paano daw i-recognize ng tindera yung deposit na yan? Pag yung deposit daw is under or for security purposes only, they are not revenue. Okay? Hindi mo i-recognize yan as revenue. Kasi hindi naman talaga siya revenue natin. Kuha mo yon. Okay So anong entry mo lang dyan? Magde-debit ka lang dyan ng cash kasi naka-receive ka ng cash. Anong credit mo? Liabilities lang. Paano sir pag binayad na? Pag binayaran na, di debit ka ng liabilities, tapos ano i-credit mo? Cash. Binayaran mo lang ulit siya ng cash. Tama? Okay. Next, hindi na to unearned revenue dividends revenue. Ano yung meron sa dividends revenue? Kung maalala mo ulit yung discussion natin sa investment, 4 ang dividends natin, or dividends payable pala. 4 ang dividends natin. Meron tayong dividends that are to be paid using cash, those to be paid using non-cash asset, and those dividends that are declared using shares or share dividends, and yung mga liquidating dividends. Okay? Liquidating dividends. Ano yung importante lang naman dito na nakakalito? Pag narinig mo yung share dividends, memo, entry yan. So, hindi yan liabilities. Meron kang cash payable, liability yan. Meron kang non-cash asset na babayaran using the dividends payable, liability yan. Liquidating payables, liability yan. Ang difference lang, itong dalawa na to, meron kang expense. Liability and expense. Kapag liquidating dividends, wala kang expense. Hindi yan expense. Ibabalik mo lang kasi yung capital na in-invest sa'yo before. So, yan si dividends payable. Last concept natin for this liability, part 1 pa lang naman ito, is meron tayong tinatawag na accrued expenses. Okay, ano ibig sabihin ng accrued expenses? Alam mo na to dapat, grade 1 and grade 11 and grade 12 pa lang. Okay, these are expenses that are already earned. Okay, these are expenses already earned or already incurred, para mas appropriate yung term, already incurred that are not yet paid. For example, utilities. Okay, meron kang electricity. Nagamit mo na yung electricity mo. So, meron ka ng utilities expense. Tapos, nag-reading si Meralco. Magkakaroon ka ngayon ng utilities payable. Okay? Nagamit mo na yung expense bago ka nagbayad. Payable daw muna siya. Yan si accrued expenses. Wow mo yun? Sige, so let's apply all the concepts by answering this illustration. Okay, illustration number 1. Ano sabi dyan? Requirement, compute for the following: the total current liabilities and the total non-current liabilities. Also, i-classify lang natin into current and non-current liabilities ng December 31. Sabi dyan, meron daw accounts payable, including advances from customers of 250,000 pesos. Okay? Oh, ano nangyari dyan? Nagkaroon ka ng advances from customer. Ano nangyari dyan sa advances from customer? Naka-receive ka ng advance na pera kanino? Sa customers mo daw. So ngayon, obligated ka magbayad sa kanila. Okay? Obligated ka ngayon magbayad sa kanila ng ano? Nung revenue mo. 250,000. So yung 250,000, part ba ng liabilities? Yes. Yung accounts payable na yan. Okay, from customers. Sa tingin mo, current or non-current? Current liability yan. Okay? Current liabilities yan. Wait lang. Naalala ko dun sa classification natin. Parang nagkamali yata ako. Dun sa current portion and non-current portion. Advances from supplier. Mas maganda palang term na gamitin dito, advances from customers. Okay, advances from customers. Kasi pag nagkaroon ka ng advances na nanggaling sa iyong suppliers, meron ka bang payable? Yes, meron ka din payable. Okay, parehas lang pala. Advances from customers and advances from suppliers. Okay, nalito lang. Sorry. Nakakalito talaga si liabilities. Anyway, let's move on. Notes payable. Narinig mo yung notes? Ay, naku, non-current to ah. Oh, notes payable non-current, including the notes payable to bank due on December 31, 2027 of 500,000 pesos. Uy, ano ibig sabihin yan? Merong notes payable na yung 500,000 daw due ng 2027. Ibig sabihin, 1,500,000 to. Ang assumption mo, yung 1 million dyan, due kailan? 2025. So, ibig sabihin, current liability and non-current liability. Current liability, yung 1 million pesos. Non-current liability, yung 500,000 pesos. Okay. Sige, bakit red? Next, share dividends payable. Uy, share dividends payable. Ay, ignore na natin yan. Tama. Memo entry naman yan. Hindi yan liability. Kahit payable yan, di yan liability kasi memo entry lang tayo dyan. Galing mo dun. Next, credit balance in customers account. Credit balance. Kung lalagyan mo ng T-account yan, okay, meron kang receivable. Accounts receivable. Tapos nagkaroon daw ng credit balance. Magkano yung credit balance yan? 200,000. Tama ba? Walang adverse account. Kapag asset, aalisin mo yung receivable na yan. Babalik mo yan. Magde-debit ka ng AR 200,000 para mag-zero out yung T-account natin. Kasi bawal ang negative balance. Saan mo i-credit yan? Payable. 200,000. Customer current liability yan. Galing mo, na-analyze mo yon. Next, serial bonds payable in semi-annual installment of 500,000. Pag sinabing serial bonds payable, yan yung meron ka lang babayaran in staggered payment. Okay, kaya nga sinabi, installment. Semi-annual installment of 500,000 pesos, 5 million yan. Uy, 5 million pesos daw yung bonds. So, ibig sabihin, non-current liability yan. Sabi daw, semi-annual installment of 500. So, ibig sabihin, magbabayad daw ako ng 500,000 sa kalahati ng taon, tapos 500,000 sa kalahati pa ng taon, which is 1 million pesos for 1 year. Kailan ko yan babayaran? 2025. Okay, so ibig sabihin, non-current liability and current liability yan. Magkano yung current liability mo dyan? Yung 1 million pesos. Magkano non-current liability mo dyan? Yung 4 million pesos. Okay? Oh, next, accrued interest on bonds payable. Ay, interest, accrued. Ay, naku, alam ko na yan. Current liability yan. Okay. Next, contested BAR tax assessment. Possible obligation. Uy, naalala mo yung nasa unang discussion natin, sabi dito, probable and measurable. Dapat probable and measurable. Ano to? Hindi naman probable ang sinabi. Ano dyan? Possible. Actually, i-discuss natin yan sa next video discussion. Pag possible pa lang, contingent liability yan. Contingent liability and those contingent liabilities are to be disclosed only. they are not to be recognized. Kaya itong 300,000 na yan, i-ignore mo lang yan. Next, unearned rent. Uy, unearned. Alam ko yung unearned Current liability yun. Kasi pag deferred, non-current liability. Uy, deferred, non-current liability yan. Oh, contingent. Ay, contingent. To be disclosed only. Ignore yan. Reserve for contingencies. Ay, contingencies. Ignore na lang ulit yan. Okay, kumpitin natin. Magkano mga current liabilities mo dyan? Oh, 1,250,000 plus yung current liability mo dito, 1 million pesos, plus current liability mo na 200,000, plus current liability mo na 1 million pesos, plus current liability mo na 150,000, plus 100,000, plus wala na tayong plus. So magkano yung current liability mo dito? 3,700,000. Magkano non-current liabilities mo dyan? Isa-isayin natin. Non-current liabilities na 500,000 plus non-current liability na 4 million pesos plus non-current liability mo na 5,000 pesos. That is 4,505,000. Galing. Dali lang, no? Pag alam mo yung definition, alam mo yung examples, madali lang sa'yo si current, classification ng current and non-current liabilities. Practicein natin sa next illustration. Illustration number 2. Hanapin natin yung current and non-current liabilities lang ulit dito kay JFIA Company. Uy, notes payable. Nung non-current dapat yan. Kaso nakita ko trade. Current liability yan. Bank loans. Ay, tapos note. Ay, nako. Alam ko na yan, non-current. Kaso maturing June 30, 2026. Kailan to? 2025. It will be settled within 1 year. Current liability yan. Advances. Ay, officers, employees. Alam ko yan. Current liability din yan. Accounts payable. Ay, trade. Current liability yan. Bank overdraft, naku, nasa example yan. Current liability yan. Cash, dividends payable. Uy, memo entry ba yan? Hindi. Cash Dividends payable. Ang general rule mo kapag cash dividends payable, current liability yan. Kasi to be expected to be settled yan within 1 year. Okay, pag cash dividends payable, to be settled yan within 1 year or within 12 months. So, it is considered as current liabilities. Withholding tax payable. Yung mga taxes payable na yan, current liabilities din yan. It is expected also to be paid within 1 year. Kasi pag hindi mo yan binayaran within 1 year, merong damages, merong penalties. Mortgage payable. Oy, parang mortgage, parehas lang yan ng loans, parehas yan ng notes. Mortgage payable, considered as non-current liability pag silent ang problem. Income tax payable ay taxes, current liability yan to be expected yan to be settled within 12 months. Estimated warranty obligation, ito. Pag narinig mo yung mga term na estimated na yan, usually, ang general rule muna natin dyan, current liabilities, lahat yan. So, estimated current liabilities. Accrued liabilities ay current liabilities din yan. Estimated ulit, current liabilities yan. Contracts entered into for the construction of building. Tingnan mo. Building, usually non-current yan. So, ibig sabihin dito, assume mo na, non-current liabilities yan. Okay tayo? Okay tayo? Okay. Sige. So, kung tatanungin dito, contracts entered into for the construction of building. Actually, entered into for the construction of building, contract entered pa lang. So, parang sinasabi dito, executory contract pa lang yan. Wala pa nag-perform ng obligation. So, i-assume natin, executory contract pa lang yan. So, ignore muna natin yan. Wala pang liability sa point of view yung dalawa. So, hanapin natin magkano current liabilities mo dyan. 3 million, 2 million, plus 500,000, plus 4 million, plus 300, plus 1 million, plus 100, plus 800,000, plus 600,000, plus 700,000, plus 900, plus 200. This is equal to 14,100,000. Magkano non-current liability mo dyan? Isa lang naman yan. 3,800,000 non-current liabilities. Oh, dali, no? Sige. Sagutin natin yung ibang illustration. Let's move on muna sa illustration number illustration number 15. Nasaan yung illustration number 15 ko? Eto. Sige, illustration number 15. Sabi, 16 pala. 16. Sabi dyan. An entity sells gift certificate that expires 1 year after issuance. Handaan mo at underline mo. Nag-expire yan 1 year after issuance. Information on gift certificate is shown below. Gift card liability on January 1, 2025, 600,000. So, mark mo na, beginning gift liabilities yan. Gift certificate sold during 2025, 1 million pesos. Uy, nakabenta ng gift certificate. Anong entry mo ulit dyan? Pag nakabenta ka, tama, i-recognize mo muna siya as liability. So, entryhan natin yan. Naka-receive ka ng cash kasi nakabenta ka. Magkano? 1 million pesos. Mag-recognize ka na ba ng revenue kasi nakabenta ka? Hindi pa. Recognize mo muna as liability. Tawagin natin siya as gift certificate liability. Magkano yan? 1 million pesos. Okay, so tapos tayo dyan. Next, prior year gift certificates was redeemed in 2025. 400,000. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Ito daw, out of 600,000 daw na ito, na-redeem daw yung 400,000 natin. Sabi ko nga, pag naka-redeem ka, mag-recognize ka ng revenue. Anong entry mo? Aalisin mo yung liabilities. So, debit ka ng gift certificate liability of magkano yan? 400,000. Then, recognize ka ng gift certificate revenue of 400,000. Okay? Oh, next, gift certificate sold and redeemed in 2025. Ibig sabihin daw, yung naibenta ko daw ng 2025, which is itong 1 million peso, na-redeem ko daw yung 675,000 dyan. Pag na-redeem ko yung 675,000, i-entryhan ko yan ng revenue, tama? So that would be, and debit tayo ng gift certificate liability, shortcutin ko na lang. Magkano yan? 675,000. Tapos mag-recognize ako ng income. So, gift revenue or gift certificate revenue, shortcutin ko na lang din ulit, 675,000. Tama. Oh, tapos sinabi dito, mag-i-expire daw every 1 year kapag daw hindi nagamit. Tingnan mo to, beginning January 1, 2025, 600,000. Nakolekta 400,000. So, meron nag-expire na 200,000. Nag-expire. Revenue yon? Yes, revenue yun. So, alisin ko na yan. Gift liability, 200,000. Then, gift revenue, 200,000. Okay tayo dyan? Oh, sabi pa dito, historically, 10% of the gift certificates sold are never redeemed. Ano ibig sabihin ng historical 10% of gift certificates sold are never redeemed? Yan yung concept natin ng breakage. Okay? I-assume muna natin, proportionate method ang ginamit dito kasi hindi pa naman sinabi na certain sila na hindi makukolekta yung 10%. So, entryhan natin tong 10% na yan. Paano mo yan i-entryhan? Magkano ba yung nabili? Magkano ba yung binili? All in all. Tama, it is 1 million pesos. 1 million yung biniling gift certificate. Expectedly, 10% yung makokolekt o yung hindi makokolekta. So, yung breakage natin times 10%, that is 100,000. Ano ulit yung concept natin sa proportionate method? You will recognize income from this breakage ng the same pattern sa pag-recognize natin ng revenue. Which is, magkano na yung na-recognize mo na revenue? 675,000 na. So, hanapin natin ilang percentage ba yan? So, magkano ba yung total na revenue natin? Pag inalis mo yung breakage dun sa 1 million pesos, alisin mo yan, which is 100,000, tama, yung total revenue lang natin na ma-recognize supposed to be is 900,000. Kung hahanapin natin ilang percentage ng 675,000, ng 900,000 yung 675,000 natin, that would be 675 divided by 900,000. This is equal to 675 divided by 900,000, 75%. So, sinasabi, 75% na yung na-recognize natin na revenue. Same pattern ulit tayo kasi proportionate method. Dapat daw, out of 100,000 na to, 75% yan, na ginawa na nating revenue. Magkano 75% yan? 75,000. So, mag-e-entry ulit tayo dito for breakage. Lagyan ko na lang ng red ito, pero kasi medyo komplikado. Debit ka ng gift liability. Credit ka ng gift revenue. Magkano? 75,000. Ulitin ko, pag proportionate method, you are recognizing revenue from this breakage ng the same pattern sa pag-recognize mo ng revenue natin dito. Okay? Tingnan mo na lang yung process. Magkano yung total revenue na makukolekta? Supposed to be 900,000. Excluding syempre kasi dapat yung breakage natin. Kasi hindi mo naman siya magiging revenue talaga eh. Expectation mo nga, hindi siya mariredeem. So expectation mo, hindi siya magiging revenue. Okay? Tapos tinignan natin ilang percentage na yung 675,000 na nakolekta na or na-recognize na revenue doon sa 900,000 na 100% niya. So that's 75%. So Pinaportion lang natin, the same pattern lang, 1 million times 75%. Dapat 75% ng 100,000 na recognize na natin, which is 75,000. Kuha mo yon? Sige. So, yan kapag gift certificate. Kuha natin. So, punta tayo sa next illustration natin. Ito, illustration number 3. So, lagyan lang natin. I-classify lang natin si illustration number 3 if to be classified ba siya as current or non-current liabilities. Sige, sabi dyan, illustration number 3, ABC Company has 10%, 1 million peso loan payable as of December 31, 2025 that is maturing on July 1, 2026, 2025, 2026 within 1 year ay current liability na yan. Interest on the loan is due every July 1 and December 31. Consider the following scenarios. Scenario number 1, on February 1, 2026, ABC entered into a refinancing agreement with the bank to refinance the loan on a long-term basis. Both parties are financially capable of honoring the agreement's provision. ABC's financial statements were authorized on issue on March 15, 2026. Kailan siya nag-enter into financing agreement? February 1, 2026. Kailan ang reporting period? Tama, dapat before reporting period, which is December 31, 2025. So, February 1, 2026, after na yan. So, hindi yan pumasok dun sa requirement natin na before. So, anong classification nito? Current liabilities. Ganun lang siya i-analyze, guys. Next, scenario number 2. On February 1, 2026, ABC entered into a refinancing agreement with the bank to refinance the loan on the long-term basis. Both parties are financially capable of honoring the agreement's provisions. ABC has the discretion to refinance or roll over the loan for at least 12 months from December 31, 2023 under an existing loan facility. Meron daw siyang discretion. Under existing loan facility, under contract na daw. So, anong classification natin dito? Non-current liabilities na yan. Okay? Kuha mo ha. Kung babalikan natin yung concept, hanapin ko lang yung note natin dito. Under refinancing, ito yung rule natin. Ito ngayon yan, sa rule number A. Okay, next, scenario number 3. On December 1, 2023, ABC entered into a refinancing agreement with the bank to refinance the loan on a long-term basis. The refinancing and rollover transactions were completed on December 31. Kailan nag-enter the transaction? December 1, 2023. Before December 31, 2025. So, this will be classified as non-current liabilities. Kuha. Scenario number 4. Using the same facts, except that loan payable pays annual interest on every July 1. So, hindi daw siya nagbabayad ng December 31. On February 1, 2026, ABC entered into a refinancing agreement. Same concept sa na scenario number 1. So, ibig sabihin, yung liability natin dito is non-current liabilities. Okay, kaso nagbabayad daw ng interest every July 1 lang. So, ibig sabihin, from December 31, meron siyang payable, interest payable. Yung interest payable natin, classified as current liabilities. Okay tayo dyan. So, ganyan lang ha. Yan yung concept ng refinancing agreement. Next tayo, illustration number 4. Sabi dito, on January 1, 2025, BSA Company took a 3-year 1 million peso loan from a bank. The loan agreement requires BSA to maintain a current ratio of 2:1. If the current ratio falls below 2:1, the loan becomes payable on demand. Yan yung concept natin ng payable on demand. As of December 31, 2025, BSA current ratio is 1.8:1. Ay naku, current liability na yan. Na-breach na yung contract natin. Scenario number 1. Despite the breach of loan agreement on December 31, 2025, there is no indication that the bank will demand payment over the next 12 months. Sinabi daw, hindi daw magdidemand ng payment daw over the next 12 months. Scenario number 1. Okay, no indication. Despite the breach of loan agreement on December 31, there is no indication that the bank will demand payment over the next 12 months. Aba, kahit na walang indication yan, kung na-breach mo yung contract, current liabilities yan. Paano ba siya magiging classify as non-current liabilities ulit? Kapag sinabi nung lender na hindi siya magdidemand ng payment before reporting period. Okay, so current liability yan. Scenario number 2, on January 1, 2026, the bank agreed not to collect the loan in 2026 and gave BSA 12 months to rectify the breach of loan agreement. Kailan nagbigay? Kailan sinabi yung agreement? January 5, after reporting period ulit na December 31. Current liabilities yan. Next, on December 31, 2025, the bank agreed not to collect. December 31, before the end of reporting period. Non-current liability ngayon yan. Okay? Ganyan lang yung payable on demand. Dali lang, no? Okay. Next tayo. Next illustration tayo. Illustration number 5. So, ano meron sa illustration number 5? Sabi dyan, on December 31, 2025, XYZ Company has accounts payable of 1 million peso before possible adjustments for the following. Okay, meron daw siyang 1 million peso ending balance na ng December 31. So, i-adjust lang natin sila. Letter A, requirement, compute for the adjusted accounts payable and prepare the adjusting journal entries. So, letter A, goods in transit from a supplier to XYZ on December 31, 2025 with an invoice cost of 50,000 purchased FOB shipping point was not yet recorded. Ay, bakit FOB shipping point Magre-recognize tayo tama ng liabilities kapag na-ship na. Kasi FOB shipping point. Ang sinabi, goods in transit. So, ang assumption mo, on the way na. Okay, na-ship na siya. So, dapat yung 50,000, ni-recognize mo na yan. So, kung i-entryhan natin yan, debit tayo ng inventory, credit tayo ng accounts payable, magkano yan? 50,000 pesos. Okay? Dapat na in-entryhan mo na yan. Mali ka dyan. XYZ. Letter B, goods shipped FOB shipping point from a supplier to XYZ was lost in transit. The invoice cost of 20,000 was not yet recorded. FOB shipping point, hindi mo pa ni-recognize. Aba, kailangan mong entryhan yan. Debit ka ng inventory, credit ka ng accounts payable, magkano yan? 20,000 pesos. Kasi FOB shipping point yan. Sir, lost in transit Ay, regardless kung lost in transit yan. Kasi FOB shipping point yan. The moment na ma-ship yan, sino na may cargo ng liabilities? Ikaw na. Si XYZ na. So, pag nawala yan, sino may kasalanan? Sino mag-shoulder ng loss? Ikaw na rin. Okay tayo dyan? Okay kung i-recognize mo yung loss, lalagyan mo lang ng additional entry yan, magde-debit ka ng loss. Tapos alisin mo yung inventory. Credit ka ng inventory, 20,000 pesos. Pero yung payable na yan, kailangan mo pa rin yung bayaran kay supplier mo. Okay? Letter C. Sabi sa C, goods shipped FOB shipping point from a supplier on XYZ on December 31, 2025 amounting to 8,000 was recorded and included in the year-end physical count as good in transit. FOB shipping point na record daw ay aba goods. Galing mo dyan. XYZ. Properly included yan. So, wala ka ng correcting entry na gagawin dyan. D. Goods in transit from a supplier to XYZ on December 31, 2025 with an invoice cost of 10,000 purchased FOB destination naman was not yet recorded. Bakit? Kailan daw na-receive? January 2026. Ay, goods ka din dyan. Dapat talaga hindi mo pa ni-recognize yan. Properly excluded yan. Wala kang correcting entries din kay letter D. Letter E, goods with an invoice cost of 15,000 pesos was recorded and included in the year-end physical count as goods in transit. It was found out that the goods were shipped from supplier under FOB destination, tapos in transit pa lang siya, tapos ni-recognize mo siya, ay mali ka dun. Kailangan alisin mo yan. So magde-debit ka ng correcting entry mo dito, debit ka ng accounts payable, credit ka ng inventory kasi dapat wala pa namang inventory dyan. Magkano? 15,000 pesos. Yan yung entries natin. Okay? O sabi, magkano daw yung accounts payable natin? Gawa ka lang ng T-account para madali. Okay? Accounts payable. Beginning balance mo, 1 million peso. Nasa credit yan. Nag-credit ka ng 50,000. Okay? Nag-credit ka ng 20,000. Nag-credit ka ng wala na. Nag-debit ka ng 15,000. Magkano ending balance natin dito? Nasa 1,055,000. So, yan yung sagot natin for illustration number 5. Okay tayo dyan? Okay Sige. Illustration number 6, sige. Sabi sa illustration number 6, Mr. P Company sells monthly subscription for an industry publication. Subscriptions received after the November 1 cut-off date are held for publication in the following year. Sinabi daw, yung subscription daw na na-receive mo ng November 1, kailan mo daw gagawin yung revenue? Sabi daw, following year pa daw. Next year daw. Okay, so yung lahat ng na-receive mo beyond November 1, unearned revenue mo siya. Okay? Receipts during 2025 for subscriptions were made evenly. Pag sinabing made evenly, equally each month, pare-parehas yung na-receive daw na subscription. Information on subscriptions is shown below. Meron ka daw unearned revenue ng January 1, 2025, 3 million. So kung lalagyan mo ng T-account yan, unearned revenue, liability ulit yan, meron kang credit dito na 3 million pesos. Okay, beginning balance yan. Tapos naka-receive ka daw ng subscription during 2025. Sabihin na natin, naka-advance payment yan lahat. So meron ka ditong credit ka ng 24 million. Ano ba requirements? Unearned revenue balance on December 31, 2025. Revenue from subscription ng 2025. Tapos prepare daw tayo ng journal entries. So anong entry mo dyan? Nung na-receive mo ito, 24 million, debit ka ng cash, credit ka ng unearned revenue. Magkano yan? 24 million. Okay? Okay tayo dyan. Ang assumption daw, it was incurred evenly. So, 24 million divided by 12 months. Each month tayo, mag-recognize tayo ng 2 million. Okay? Yung na-receive mo ng November, which is November and December, which is 2 months, yun yung hindi mo pa nare-recognize. Which is yun yung ending balance natin. Dapat, 2 million times 2, that is 4 million pesos. Kung 4 million pesos yung ending balance mo, tapos meron ka dito, magkano yung dinirecognize mo or nirecognize mo as revenue? That would be 3 million plus 24 million less 4 million. Nag-recognize ka ng 23 million na revenue. Kuha mo yan. So kung i-entryhan natin yan, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng debit unearned revenue. I-recognize mo yung liability mo. Credit ka ngayon ng revenue or subscription revenue of 23 million pesos. Okay tayo? Sir, bakit yung 3 million? Beginning balance yan eh. Ang assumption mo, magagamit na yan for the next year. Kasi sabi nga dito, lahat ng unearned revenue, gagawin mo yung revenue next year. Okay tayo? Yan for illustration number 6. Okay tayo dyan. Okay. Next is for illustration number 7. Pero sa illustration number 7, sagutan na lang natin siya in the next video discussion. Discuss natin yung ibang concept ng liabilities doon. Yun lang muna. Ingat, God bless, and ciao!